Welcome to TBA. I'm Brad.
I'm Caitlin.
And we've got a jam-packed show for you today. We're going to be talking about the flu virus that's been going around.
The Model UN.
And we're going to be taking a trip down to Albion Park to the Historical Aircraft Museum.
But before we get to all of that, we're going to jump straight to News of the Week.
I'm Jake, and this is your News of the Week. Australia has been threatened with a nuclear strike from North Korea. It says if Australia commits its troops to aid the US and participate in military exercises on the Korean Peninsula, it would be a suicide act. With the citizenship scandal still sweeping through Parliament House, the Labor Party is being urged to prove its members meet the citizenship requirements. Despite repeated requests, it has refused to do so. Missed a solar eclipse in the US? Worry not, for studies have confirmed that there will be 8 total solar eclipses in Australia over the next 100 years. The next celestial display will be in 2028, which will pass directly over Sydney. Welfare recipients in Western Sydney will be the first to try random drug testing as of January. The controversial plan will see any person with a positive drug test have 80% of their welfare payments transferred onto cards, which will mean they can only be used on certain purchases. And finally, tonight is the last chance to enrol in the postal vote for same-sex marriage, and with 500,000 18 to 39-year-olds missing from the roll, it is important that you have your say. You have until midnight tonight to go to the Electoral Commission website. Now it's back to the studio.
Thanks, Jake.
It's definitely important that you guys enroll to vote for the plebiscite. So have you enrolled to vote?
I have enrolled to vote, but I don't know if it's going to be worth anything because with all the stuff with the politicians, I don't know if there's going to be anyone left to vote on it because they're all foreign citizens. So, up next, Frankie had a look at the Model UN convention that took place over the last week.
My name is Damon Vavros. I'm the president of WUDFA, which is the Wollongong University Diplomacy and Foreign Affairs Society. And today we are at GONGMun, which is our first Model United Nations conference we held at the university. I was in the Crisis Council. I was President Xi Jinping of China on the China cabinet. So we were debating the future, a 2020 scenario where the two Koreas were locked in conflict again. It's escalated even more with the threats of sort of the nuclear attacks that have been happening all the way back here in like 2017, or the threats that have been made by Kim Jong-un. So it was between the US, China, North Korea and South Korea. And we were in a 2-day long debate about the future of the peninsula and how we as individual countries and heads of state, foreign ministers and defence ministers could work together to create a peaceful solution.
I was on the crisis committee for Wollongong's first MUN, GONGMun, and I was the delegate for Donald Trump basically, so in charge of the US committee. So on the first day it looked like we were going to get exactly what we wanted, which was a peace on the Korean Peninsula, but instead we ended up nuking basically the entire west coast of America and the top part of Australia. So it didn't quite go the way we thought it would go.
I represented America on the status of the United Nations Women. The topic was representation of women within governments. It was really fun because I feel as though it's a really good avenue to be able to let yourself understand politics a bit more and how hard it is to pass things through on an international committee.
I was the delegate for the state of Qatar in the United Nations Women's Committee. Being a Middle Eastern country in a women's committee can be a little bit sometimes controversial, a little bit difficult. You definitely have to be prepared to put yourself out there.
I think it's really important to learn about different countries' views on things, to learn what's going on in the world and to be able to see countries coming together on different issues.
The highlights of the conference was understanding everyone's stance on this particular topic that can be so controversial. It allows, yet again, a scope into other nations' response to certain questions, how they will act, and the things that actually create a boundary for them to actually, when they want to try and overcome something, there's always a barrier there, and it's quite hard to create more allies and, I guess, create a clear response to the situation.
The highlight of this weekend was definitely the fact that we had people show up from, like, not just Wollongong, but we had our friends from ANU, University of Canberra and USyd, come to Wollongong to participate in this first Model United Nations conference that we've actually held here at UAW for the first time. And the best part was socialising with them, getting to meet new people, getting to meet old people, and actually run this entire conference as a whole.
give GONGMun a shot. I think for the first GONGMun, this has been fantastic. So many people have come out, and I reckon next year will be even bigger and better. I'm looking forward to see what happens.
Well, GONGMun really did make us realise that it is a small world after all.
Now on to Spotlight. We are talking to Dr Kath Weston about the flu season.
Now, we have a very special guest in the studio today with us, Dr Kath Weston from the School of Medicine.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
So, can you tell us a little bit about the flu season? Apparently it's really bad this season. Is that true?
Well, there certainly are lots of reports about people with flu in Australia and lots of cases in New South Wales, and it does seem to be a particularly bad season, and one of the reasons for that is that there are actually more than one strain of flu circulating at the moment. So there's about 4 strains circulating at the moment, so that you're going to have people sick from one strain or the other strain. So it seems like there's more people sick because there's more different types of flu circulating. The other thing is that we're better at testing, and we have some very good rapid testing that's important, because if you can get some early results back, you can start people on antiviral treatments.
So how can people best prevent themselves from getting ill?
So at the start of every flu season or every winter, the best protection is through vaccination. So getting a flu vaccine is generally regarded as the best way to protect against disease. There are other things that are really important to do too, such as hand washing, making sure that you're aware of when you're sick to stay home and stay away from people, and not doing silly things like sneeze in someone's face.
Now, Kath, I'm hearing a lot about the so-called man flu. Do you have any sort of advice about that, or whether it's a credible threat, or is that something that maybe we're overreacting about?
So everyone responds to flu differently, or to any illnesses, and there's a range of, I guess, severity in terms of people's symptoms. Some people are more stoic and might be able to withstand, the aches and pains a little bit more. But in saying that, it's really important that we recognise that the thing to do is stay away from people if you're sick, and stay home. Whether you're feeling like you're going to be brave, going to work isn't actually necessarily the best thing for the rest of the population and your work colleagues. And also we know with this particular flu season that the elderly are very vulnerable, and even children under 9 are accounting for about a quarter of the cases. So there are people in our community who really are very susceptible to this virus. So we need to make sure that our actions don't make them sicker. So we don't visit grandma or grandpa in the nursing home if we're sick. And we do the things that we said: vaccinate, hand washing, and just understanding how viruses are transmitted.
So in a hypothetical situation, if you're sitting next to somebody who is sick, how do you make sure that you don't get their germs?
So we often, if you can stay about a metre away from a person, that is a good thing. But understanding that when someone has the flu, they're shedding virus in their cough and in their sneezing and so on. So if you can not go near those people, or if you can encourage good hand hygiene and good, I guess, infection control procedures. So encourage people to take a tissue and then throw it away, for instance. That's a good thing. But also people who shake hands with you, if they've just blown their nose, they can transmit the virus hand to hand. So we know about nasal secretions and sneezing and stuff, but actually lots of times the virus can be transmitted just by person-to-person touching, hand contact.
Now, obviously, there's symptoms that you tend to get with the flu coming on. Is there sort of anything that people should be looking out for, before it gets, or for early intervention, or before they decide to come into uni or go into work and sort of share it around? So sometimes the flu can start like a cold, and people often talk about colds and flu, but really they're really quite different. And so typically if you're coming down with the flu, you might have a scratchy or sore throat, you might be feeling really achy and have joint pains, you might have a headache, you might start to sniff or cough or something like that. And if you're feeling going downhill quite quickly in a way that not even just, a couple of Panadols might help you. If you're feeling like you're really bad
and you go to the doctor sooner rather than later, they can start on some antiviral medication if the test does show that it is the flu, and that can shorten the duration of illness. So understanding your symptoms, and if it seems like it's quite bad, then that you might need to have some antiviral medication.
So there's a bit of a sort of age-old debate going on between tissues and hankies. Now, I'm a hanky man myself, but I was just wondering what the sort of professional advice on hankies versus tissues is.
I think definitely in a flu season, probably the best thing to do would be to use a tissue, throw it away, and then wash your hands straight away, so that anything, that virus that might have come out of your cough or your sneeze or blowing your nose onto the tissue can also get onto your hands. But if you wash your hands straight away, then that will reduce the risk of it spreading to someone else. You can use your hanky if you like, but make sure it's your hanky, and I still would be washing my hands after I blew my nose.
Thank you very much for coming in, Kath.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Up next, our reporter Elise has been out to Albion Park for a story that is anything but plain.
My name's John Kroll. I live locally at Oak Flats. My position here at Haas is to look after the tour guide team. What got me really interested in aviation was through my father. He was a pilot in World War II. I've got his logbook here, and one of the aircraft in our collection is a Tiger Moth, and Dad learnt to fly on a Tiger Moth out at Narromine in Western New South Wales. This is his logbook. There's just a really interesting entry. The year's 1944, month of June. On the 6th of June, he flew as a first officer in a Sunderland flying boat, doing a fuel consumption test, and then with a different pen, my dad's just added D-Day. Well, the role of a tour guide first thing in the morning is to open up the aircraft that we're going to show to our visitors. Sometimes we purely rely on people dropping into the museum unannounced, but on other days we have groups booked in.
I'm Bob Delahunty. I'm the fortunate president and chief pilot of Haas. Haas offers to the local community an opportunity for people to get involved with us, to share the passion and vision, and to showcase the Illawarra to not just Australians but to so many overseas visitors that now know we're here and want to come and see some of the iconic aircraft that we have. And we enjoy the fact that so many people want to share this with us.
Now, those guys are going to be very busy coming up in the next couple of months because obviously John Travolta is donating his plane and supposedly flying it over here. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out.
Yeah, if you've got a spare jet lying around, definitely donate it. But now we're going to go straight to the girls who are back in the kitchen cooking up a storm.
Hey guys, welcome to the 10th episode of Food for Thought. This is a segment where we show you how to make cheap and nutritious food. Yeah, so today we're going to show you how to make acai bowls. Acai bowls have become so popular over the past couple of years, so this is something we both really enjoy and we hope you like it too. Yeah, so the ingredients that you will need are milk of your choice, which we're using soy milk, and we've got bakinis, which is buckwheat cereal, and frozen berries, desiccated coconut, your acai powder, some bananas, one for the actual acai and one for the topping, some strawberries and some flaked almonds.
Alright, so you want to start by adding your banana. Just rip it apart and put it into your blender. Then you want to add about half a cup of frozen berries, a tablespoon of acai powder, you can add a bit more if you want, and just a little bit of soy milk. Now, don't add too much, as if you add too much it will turn out more like a smoothie, and we actually want a more thicker consistency, kind of like a frappe.
you liked today's recipe. Join us next time when we show you how to make cheaper and even more nutritious foods for you guys.
That looks pretty good. I know to get one of those at a cafe, it costs you, a fortune. You know, you have to take out a mortgage. So do it at home, save yourself a few bucks.
Yeah, it's a lot easier that way. Now we're going to go straight to the Muse.
After last week gave us some massive household names, this week's focus is shifting to celebrate the up-and-coming locals. Tonight at Rad Bar, we've got the garage pop band Major Leagues. The four-piece band are touring their debut album Good Love, an album filled with carefree yet nostalgic vibes. Kicking off at 8 PM, be sure to catch the supporting crew, Body Type and Moaning Lisa, to get you right into the swing of things. This Friday has a bit for everyone. Our very own Unibar is hosting Strawberry Boogie's second birthday. With the likes of Donny Benet, Tees, Gorchie, White Blanks and Crocodilus, Strawberry Boogie is notorious for picking out the best of the up-and-coming local musicians, artists and all-round creatives. So head along to hear some fresh sounds. Rad's Friday will have your head banging your way into the weekend. Hailing from Sydney, Meatcake are set to make noise complaints. With their vibe having been likened to bashing your knee on a crappy Camry's tow bar, Meatcake are going to hurt. Supported by Cape Tribulation, Anonymai and Wollongong's own femo-rocking Baby Machine, it's sure to get wild. And if that's not your thing, head to Howling Wolf for the acoustic sounds of Ben Camden and the smooth blues of 500 Pounds of Joy. These guys will have your toes tapping and Ben will have you grabbing your friends and dancing like you're in a field on the moon. Saturday is one you do not want to miss. Letters to Lions will be hitting up a gig at Rad Bar, supported by Siamese and Kimono Pool. The boys are creating melodies of the summer to come and will have you swaying and jumping to their concoction of swooning, aggressive sound. And rounding out the weekend, Rad Bar has your Sunday night sorted. Featuring the punk three-piece Zen haircuts with basil kites, floral sheets and soft karate tickets. And to get you through hump day next week, the cheeky duo of Gold member are visiting Rad on Wednesday. The duo are sure to bring back the rhythms of early 2000s R&B, bass drops and smooth as hell vocals. This week is full of groove and it's super exciting to see our city hosting and supporting these amazing artists. Stay tuned for what's up and coming in the news each Thursday.
Cheers, Lil. What a great lineup at Strawberry Boogie. That looks really good. We should
definitely get around that.
Definitely get around to it.
Thank you guys for joining us in today's show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next week.
I've been Brad.
And I'm Caitlin.